Kate goes up to the baby's room and she opens the door, and right to the right of the door is a picture. Now look at this picture, or I'll show it to you. Look at this picture closely. You see on a bicycle there's a boy, and it looks like the back tire's in the air, like he's somehow like landing. He's not using his feet, and it looks like it's going uphill too, so not sure how that's possible. It reminded me of the scene when Carl's like being brainwashed in that room, and you see the upside down person on the bicycle, and then also in the orientation film, if you guys have seen that, that's supposed to happen in season 4. They show the same scene, and the houses in the background of the painting look like they're from the barracks where the others used to live. And you guys probably see this too, but there's 2 cards in the front, playing cards, that are being held by a hand in the foreground. They're really randomly placed there, kind of out of place. But I first thought those were the cards that Dan was trying to memorize earlier, the 6 of clubs and the Queen of Diamonds, I think. But at a closer look, you can see it's actually a 7. It looks like 7 of spades. Now it looks like you can see only 6 spades, but the thumb is actually covering up one of the spades. To me, it seems like that refers to the Oceanic 6, that there's actually a 7th one that's being covered up, which could be the baby, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. I think that's probably what it's referring to. And it's too hard to tell what the card is behind it. It looks like a face card. We just can't tell. And why is the card even placed there at all? It has to have some significance. Kate goes over to the crib where the baby is and picks him up. And he says, "Mommy," and she says, "Aaron," calls him Aaron, and plays scary music. Kind of has a weird look on her face also. Now some people think it's not Claire's Aaron, that it's actually Sawyer's baby with Kate, and that's why Jack doesn't want to see the baby, because it'll just remind him of how Kate picked Sawyer over him, and that they just named the baby in honor of Aaron for some reason. But it doesn't make sense to me. Why would they end with dramatic music like that if it wasn't Claire's Aaron? There's no way the producers would end a show with a zinger like that one and come back a few episodes later to say, "Oh, nah, Kate's just named her baby in honor of Aaron. You guys fell for it." And there's actually a podcast that happened the past couple of days with Evangeline Lilly, who plays Kate, and she's talking about how it is actually Claire's Aaron and not her own. Obviously something happened to Claire to have Aaron be with Kate. We know from Desmond's vision that she was getting on the helicopter, maybe she was pushed off somehow, or that they kidnapped Aaron for some reason. Obviously it was something against her will, and that's probably why Jack doesn't want to see Aaron, because of something sinister that happened that would remind him of Claire. Maybe he had to save her in some way and wasn't able to, and he just feels guilty. We also know from earlier that Jack and Claire are half-brother and half-sister, so that would make Aaron Jack's nephew. So they're related. That could have something to do with why he doesn't want to see Aaron. If you remember back to season 1, when it's Claire's flashback, and she goes to see the fortune teller, and I'll tell you about the conversation. The guy's name is Malkin, the fortune teller, and he's talking to Claire. He says, "It is crucial that you yourself raise the child." And Claire says, "You mean with Thomas, who is his the boyfriend? Is he?" And Malkin says, "The father of the child? He'll play no part in its life, nor yours." Claire says, "So what exactly are you saying?" And the teller says, "This child parented by anyone else, anyone other than you, danger surrounds this baby." Claire says, "Danger?" And he says, "Your nature, your spirit, your goodness must be an influence in the development of this child." And Claire says, "If Thomas and I don't get back together, I'm putting this baby up for adoption. I just wanted to find out what would give the baby the happiest life." And Malkin says, "There's no happy life, not for this child, not without you." Claire says, "I don't." And he interrupts and says, "It can't be another. You mustn't allow another to raise your baby." If you remember, Malkin was also the one that gave Claire the plane tickets for Flight 815, probably knowing it would crash. and it was trying to get away from the two people that were going to adopt Aaron. It could also be referring to Kate, that if Kate raises Aaron, something bad will happen to him, or just something bad in general will happen. That's all for this recap, but as I was watching the episode 4 of Eggtown, I was wondering why the Oceanic Six are still alive, if whoever's trying to control them and tell them what to say don't want them to talk. You would think they would kill them to clean up the loose ends that they left. So it just shows me that the Oceanic Six will be needed for something else in the future. And also, I don't know if any of you guys caught this, but there was actually a really good interview with the producers, Damon and Carlton, that gave a lot of answers, and I'll list off some of the things, the key points of the interview. They say next week deals with time travel and operates in different time periods. They say Frank will talk about the limitations of the phone in next episode. And we also, this season, by the end, we'll find out who's in the coffin. We also find out that Ben could be one of the Oceanic Six. He could just be using one of his passports, if they're not telling us. They say that there is a time differential on the island through Dan's experiment. And they also say that there's no real connection between the bracelets of Naomi and Elsa from last episode, which blows one of my ideas out of the water. They also say that it was Jack's dad in the cabin. They confirm that. They say it was a good eye by everyone else's part. They say Jacob's eye might belong to a person who is in two places at once. They say the Christiane one, the ship that was looking for Flight 815 at the beginning of episode 2, was actually looking for the Black Rock, the ship that's on the island. They say they named Miles Strom the way they did because it sounds like Maelstrom. And Charlotte, they say Charlotte Lewis was obviously named after C.S. Lewis, and it's important for the way the season will end, at least for her role. And they say Abaddon will be a crucial part for the second half of season 4. And then they also say that we will know who the Oceanic Six are by this end of the 7th episode. That's all for this episode of Secrets and Recap. Again, any questions, just send me a message, comment, whatever you want. I really like this episode. Next episode is called The Constant, and it looks great. I can't wait for it. I'll have that video done probably by next Monday again. It's looking more and more like Monday will be the day that these videos will be out. Looking forward to it, and I will see you guys on next Monday. God bless.